two giveaways really were the difference there in that first half, because I thought we were doing some really good things. But then we got that takeaway, had a takeaway negated by an offside. So
Shedeur did a bad job. I was impressed with the brother, but I'm going to go with Shedeur. You know, the pressure was on him. The spotlight was on him. He showed up out on the field. You know, he played better than expected, reminded everybody who he is and what he brings to the table. I liked it. You know, but that's not to throw any shade on Dillon Gabriel.
It's just part of it. You know, there's entertainers and there's competitors. And I totally understand that. And my job is to compete. And that's what I'm focused on doing.
2 giveaways, 1 pick six, a head coach who finally says it out loud. The Browns are at a crossroads and the truth is spilling into the open. If you love real talk and honest breakdowns, then hit like and subscribe right now, because we are diving into the moment that might change this quarterback room for good. Let's get one thing straight. Dillon Gabriel was not better than Shedeur Sanders in rookie minicamp. He was not better in minicamp or in training camp when the veterans were on the field. He did not perform better than Shedeur in the game he was in. Timeout for the cap. The tape does not lie. Now, can he fight to be QB2? Yes, he can. He can position himself there with hard work and clean execution. And if he plays well, but somehow is not given that QB2 spot, we all know why. The team does not want a full-on push from the fan base to put Shedeur in too soon. They do not want people clamoring for Shedeur Sanders prematurely. But then came the game that ripped the Band-Aid off. Kevin Stefanski has finally given up the patient approach with Gabriel. It is clear he is no longer sold. After another disappointing outing, Stefanski did not sugarcoat it. He said Gabriel's performance was not good enough. He went further. He said Dillon made some of the worst calls of the entire game, especially in that disastrous second quarter. They were not small errors. They were momentum killers. They left fans frustrated and teammates rattled. When a head coach steps up and calls out his own quarterback, it tells you how serious this has become. You could feel it when the tide turned. The broadcast echoed to swing.
Very good so far, and this one is picked off. And going back the other way, the Eagles, Andrew Makuba, pick 6 the other way.
That was the gut punch. That was the moment where belief slipped from the huddle and bled into the stands. After watching that performance, it became painfully obvious why Shedeur Sanders is the better choice right now. Gabriel struggled from start to finish. No touchdowns, no big completions, wasted chances, even with the full support of the first team defense. His mistakes did not just stall drives. They flipped momentum to the other sideline. And when the game was over, he did not own it. He carried himself like he was still in full control. He even took a jab at Shedeur by labeling him an entertainer and not a competitor. That kind of arrogance after a showing like that raises real questions. It makes you wonder about his mentality. It makes you question if he deserves to lead this team.
It's just straight.
He called Gabriel's comments unnecessary and reckless. The hype said Gabriel had Skynet level processing, the ability to read defenses at light speed, the calm execution of a Terminator. But the actions did not match the brand. Instead of proving it against tough competition on the field, he took aim at Shedeur. He lit a fuse with Sanders fans who are loyal and loud. The supercomputer talk got silly. If he is second to Skynet, then maybe he is sending Terminators backward and forward through time. Only now he is waging a war with the Shedeur Sanders fans. Not exactly the battle you want while you are trying to win a job. Here is the part that stings the most. This mess traces back to Kevin Stefanski. From the start of camp, he was unfair to Shedeur. Shedeur showed flashes. He proved he could operate the offense, yet Stefanski would not give him first-team reps. He kept him parked while others got the stage. After the first game, when fans were buzzing about Shedeur's poise, Stefanski doubled down. He was adamant that Sanders would not see the field yet. He said his focus was on developing everyone and not just Shedeur. But the way he said it felt like an excuse. It felt like an effort to keep Shedeur buried on the depth chart. Listen to the coach in his own words.
Yeah, pleased with Shedeur, pleased with the offense. Again, not perfect, plenty that we can work on. But I thought the guys did a really nice job of Shedeur and operating the guys making plays. So again, a ton to teach off of.
That sounds like a pat on the head and a move along. That sounds like praise without real investment. Then came the leaks and the whispers. Word is Stefanski is not even looking to factor Shedeur into the picture moving forward. For fans, that was shocking. After all the hype, after every flash of promise, after the energy Shedeur brought to the franchise, the head coach still was not convinced he could deliver. That hits hard. It chips at the confidence of a rookie. It tests the faith of a fan base that is ready to see him take the reins. If the coach does not believe it, plants a seed of doubt, and that seed can grow into a split in direction for Shedeur and for the organization. Everything started to point to one uncomfortable reality. Stefanski was doing everything he could to kill the momentum around Shedeur Sanders. Reports even suggested that the coach was pushing a false injury narrative. Suddenly there was talk that Shedeur had an oblique issue. Out of nowhere, that is when Stephen A. Smith stepped in. He refused to let it slide. He called out Stefanski and said the injury talk was a fabrication. He said this was not about protecting a young quarterback. He said it was a convenient cover to keep Shedeur on the sideline without igniting outrage. Stephen A. went right to the depth chart. He called it the smoking gun. To him, it was obvious. The Browns were never going to let Shedeur climb fast. If Shedeur had been allowed to build on his early momentum, there would be no way to justify keeping him out. But right when key roster decisions were due, the injury talk appeared. Perfect timing. Remove him from contention while the noise is loud but not yet deafening. Competition matters, and he said that too.
And that comes with going up against competition. Of course, second and third units and all of that stuff come into play.
When you are the reigning defending Super Bowl champions, had he shown up this weekend and balled out again, playing 45 or more snaps like he did in the first game, and putting up similar, if not better numbers, that would have boded very well for him. Translation, let the kid play. Let him prove it again. You may not love the circus, but winning silences all of it. The driving force behind Stefanski's choices seemed simple. Push Dillon Gabriel as the hero, but that plan fell flat. He struggled from the opening whistle to the last possession. He failed to reach the end zone. He never created real momentum. Even with a strong first-team defense on his side, the most memorable parts of his outing were the mistake. No touchdowns, no standout throws, nothing that told fans he was ready to take center stage. And then the attitude after the game made it worse. People were puzzled, people were heated. It put Stefanski in a box. The coach tried to open his media availability with the usual boilerplate. He said the Browns were in a solid position overall, but the questions kept coming. He could not sidestep Gabriel's play. He admitted Dillon was responsible for 2 critical turnovers. He said they were the result of his own decisions, and those mistakes blew up the flow of the game. Then he said it again in a way that made it sting. 2 giveaways really were the difference there in that first half, because I thought we were doing some really good thing, but then we got that takeaway. I had a takeaway negated by an offside. That is the game in a single breath. That is a coach saying enough is enough, which brings us to the pivot. Kevin Stefanski has accepted his mistake of holding Shedeur back. That admission changes everything. For weeks, he insisted that Shedeur was not ready. He leaned on development talking points. He let the injury narrative hang in the air, the one Stephen A. called a smokescreen. But after watching Dillon Gabriel collapse under pressure, after watching drives die and turnovers hit at the worst times, Stefanski had to look in the mirror. Keeping Shedeur off the field did not help him grow. It robbed the team of a spark they badly needed. The turning point was public and undeniable. Fans saw it, analysts saw it, the locker room felt it. Stefanski could not hide it. The choice to stick with Gabriel in hopes of grooming a new leader backfired. It left one truth on the board. Shedeur Sanders deserves his shot. He has shown composure, he has shown accuracy, he has shown leadership. Those traits have not been matched by Gabriel, not in rookie camp, not in training camp, not in live action. For Stefanski, the realization is not only about X's and O's, it is also about trust. Trust with the fan base, trust with the locker room vets who want the best man on the field. Trust with a young quarterback who has done what was asked and waited for a fair chance. You build that trust by owning your decisions. Then you fix them. So where do the Browns go from here? Does Kevin Stefanski finally let Shedeur step into the spotlight and prove himself? Or does he keep pushing a story that is not working and risk alienating the people who fill the seats? The truth is simple. Shedeur has earned his chance. Delaying it any longer only hurts the team. Stefanski has recognized his mistake. The next move decides if he fixes it or repeats it. And now I want to hear from you. What do you think about Kevin Stefanski and all this? Is he truly owning up to his mistake of holding Shedeur Sanders back, or is he just pretending to accept responsibility now that Dillon Gabriel's struggles are out in the open? Do you believe Stefanski is ready to give Shedeur a fair shot, or is this another attempt to control the narrative? Drop your thoughts in the comments and be heard.